First of all, hi Herman, how's it going?
Good, cool. It's good to be in the sun here. I almost went out today with a snow jacket because it's been freezing in London still, so I was wearing my snow puffy jacket. And luckily I wasn't stupid enough to bring a snow jacket out on this trip.
Yeah, good choice. I always like to start in the beginning. I'm not sure exactly at what age you moved to England, but do you have a musical memory from when you were in Hong Kong?
Well, basically I had no musical skills whatsoever until the age of 16 when I started playing the guitar. So actually when I was in school I completely skipped the music lessons. I thought they were really boring. I thought they were really dumb because you get this little thing and you hit ding dong 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 dong. Everyone's hitting in the same room and it's horrible, you know, just cacophony of noise. I really hated music lessons before.
Okay.
So I didn't really study music, the theory, any of that stuff until I started playing the guitar when I was 16.
And what made you then, because you don't like playing music, what made you pick up the guitar?
I don't know, I needed a new hobby, right? Yeah, so I guess I got to that age where you have to get a new hobby. You know, men in general always change hobby, you get new hobby as times go by. When you get older, people get into sports cars and, you know, if you have money or something, you know.
But were you listening to music a lot at that time?
Oh yeah, I listened to music, but I just didn't like the music lessons. I just find them pretty horrible.
Okay, but what kind of music would you listen to then at that age?
Pretty much rock, metal, that kind of stuff. Catchy music, and I always liked guitar solos, good guitar playing.
So specifically guitar that drew your attention?
I mean, I was listening to stuff like Bon Jovi, Bryan Adams, Megadeth, Metallica at that time.
Okay. Well, am I correct in saying that you are left-handed and learned to play right-handed?
I am probably almost correct, but not correct. So I can write with my left hand. I eat with my chopsticks on left. I play basketball on my right hand.
Okay.
I play football on my right feet.
Okay, so it's a
bit of both. And I only just realized a few days ago that Gus G, the guitar player from Ozzy Osbourne, he's also left-handed writing. And then he plays right-handed style guitar. And I know him for like 10 years. I didn't know he was like that.
But does it provide challenges for you? At first, specifically when you started playing guitar, was it more difficult to learn with your offhand, or wasn't it at that age already you could use both equally?
It's not really it wasn't really a challenge when I first picked up the guitar, apart from not being able to play it. It's because, you know, if you've never played the guitar, you pick up the guitar, you automatically pull it in the way that you would be doing it in. It's like an automatic thing. And when I first time I picked it up in the right-handed way and just played like that. So there wasn't like a thought of, oh, maybe I should play left-handed this way. It just whatever felt right.
And that's the way you learned to play?
Yeah.
Okay, and at that time, around age 16, 17, were you starting to write your own material as well?
Yeah, pretty much. We pretty much started writing music straight away when you start playing the guitar. Obviously, I wouldn't even call that writing because it's so bad anyway. You can't hardly play anything. But you know, you challenge yourself, try to play some songs of bands you like, and you can't because you're so bad. And then you start trying to write your own songs and go on that way.
But the way you play now is quite distinctive. Were there elements of that already in there?
I think the reason there's a distinctiveness to my playing is because I kind of like doing things wrong. And it's like, if you do everything correctly, you might sound like a guitar lesson or someone that come out of guitar school, which doesn't mean in a bad thing, but you know, a lot of the time you can sound very similar to people because if you study certain thing a certain way, everyone go through the curriculum of music, you absorb the same thing. I don't mean it that, you know, these guys that study are not good, or obviously they got outside inspiration that shaped them, but the way I did it with nothing, I just learned from listening to CDs, and if my ear wasn't that great, I would have picked it up wrong, and I would have played it not like the CD, but it would sound like me, some way like that. So I just learned in a different way that people did, so that's why it makes it kind of, you know, sounding like me.
But then also there are very definite elements of video game sounds in there. Were you a big gamer growing up?
You know, the funny thing about video games is I basically stopped playing video games and started playing the guitar. That's what happened. I got bored of video games. I thought it was really lame. I was sick of them. I was bored, and I started playing the guitar. I needed a new hobby from that. And later on, you know, obviously I still play little games now and then, here and then. I'm not completely. And then I got back into it a bit later on when I played too much guitars. You know? And some of those things just came on. You know, noises, guitar noises that sounds like video games. They just came out of nowhere.
But it wasn't intentional, like, oh, I like these sounds, I'm going to put this in my guitar playing.
Yeah, sort of intentional,
okay.
But not just because of the video games. It's because a lot of my favorite guitar players, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, do weird noises on the guitar. And I always found that really cool, that whammy bar making screams and wow, wow, wow. And when I did it, it didn't come out that way. It came out like a video game sound. You know what I mean? Because I listened to those old video games, that retro games that sound. So yeah.
But then this then I suppose goes back to what you just mentioned with playing wrong in a sense. Then because you look at your idols and try to play that way, but it doesn't come off the way they play it. So did it encourage you to follow your own style, basically? Or was there an element where you thought, well, I'm not playing this right?
I think some people taught me there's no right or wrong. I think reading a lot of the magazines back then of certain guitar players that inspired me, they said there's no right or wrong of playing it. Even if you play a cover song, you don't have to copycat exactly the way it is. It's more important to get the feeling right than copycat. So you can learn every single thing note by note. But for me, it's always came out really. If I did that, it's really kind of not fluid. But if I change one or two notes there and rearrange a little bit, I put my personality, everything came out much fluidly because it was more my self-expression than just studying and copying something. So that's how it happened, and that's how we gain our sound, I guess, in the band, the way we work together, all the way to the new album, Maximum Overload, which we're continuously evolving. That kind of process of not doing what the other bands are doing and not playing exactly the same style of music we listen to.
So what then does inspire you musically? And then, for instance, if we take Maximum Overload, when writing for the band, what type of things did inspire you in terms of the sound, especially?
I mean, the inspiration still comes from all style of music, metal, heavy to soft, rock, but in different times of your life, you listen to different types of music in that genre or different genre in the rock scene. And that kind of changes, and some things that you haven't thought about just kind of come back. It's really hard to calculate. You know, you do have a goal in what you're going to do. You do say, oh, okay, this album we're going to do more variety. But it's not as calculated as people think it is. You can't really calculate music. The reason is, if you're doing some kind of computer work. You sit there, or doing accounting, you sit there, you do it. It's not creative, you get it done. You can sit there doing music, nothing happened. You sit there for a week, nothing happened. Just because you put the hours doesn't mean you got any result. So it's uncalculated, sometimes it just happens. So same as music, it happens that way.
Can you give me an example of a song on the record which kind of happened in that way, where it was sort of an accident that came together?
I think everything came like that. Everything originally wasn't written that way.
Okay.
It evolved that way when the album's finished. Certain song was much longer and then became 5 minutes. They were 10 minutes originally. They get cut and cut and cut. You know, what we feel like. So we're going with the feeling these days in the music than I think that previously we tried to go for the challenge. Yeah, we can do this better and faster than before. Now it's going more of the feeling of how we feel. Yeah.
And so in this sense, then, has it become more personal to you? Because you have put more of yourself into it, in a sense?
It's really hard to say. Maybe it's just the way we're shaped, and I don't mean we're shaped by the music around us, but just life around us changes us, and our thinking has changed. You know, we feel different now, we talk about different things than we did in the past.
Right.
There's just so many factors, I think, in these days that people always concentrate on there's music, but really what's happening around us is changing what we do in the music. You know, it's not just thinking of the music, it's indirectly what's happening in our lives, making us look at music differently and doing it differently.
So a mindset is definitely the mindset you're in when recording the album or when writing for the album is definitely a big influence on what comes out.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much have to empty your brain some way. However, the lyrics on the new album, we did set topics
Okay.
before. So we had the music written, and then we listened to the music and thought, okay, what do you feel after listening to this music? And we thought, okay, right, I feel like we should talk about this in these lyrics. And so the lyrics were the only thing that was kind of pre-planned in the way of how we're going to approach it. Music, you just kind of write it and see how it goes, and it just takes you somewhere.